And there we go. So basically, Bounce, we really took on that idea that, if you're at an academy and you're running an academy, you care and are passionate about what you're doing. And we really find we resonate extremely well with coaches that do take the time and do have the interest in moving players from A to B in a smarter level. And they take the time to get to that stage. We have really four primary goals in what we're trying to achieve. And really simply, it's more students more often, and looking at how we help mobilize that with gamification and badges. Secondly, is making sure parents are engaged. Because if you have parents engaged, at least a little bit, you're going to find those students will want to pay or want to engage a bit more and play a bit more, right? And if parents know what's going on and they know the programming, especially for academies that are developing programs, there's more willingness to keep the kids and keep the students in there longer. Third is really about check-in and to facilitate student-coach relationship. If students show up and you don't have a mechanism to create that, hey, are you here today, Sally, or is Johnny in today? Or, hey, we missed you yesterday, I didn't see you on the roster. There's at least that engagement that happens, especially for kids. They love to feel that engagement with their coach, that the coach actually does acknowledge and recognize their presence in and out today. And lastly, it's about feedback that is consistent and simple to do, so students grow faster. And it's not about writing volumes of books and reports every term. The goal is that simple, quick feedback of, hey, what was your energy level today? Low, medium, high? Let's talk about it, and then pop it in, and then on you go. And the goal is that simple, quick feedback from a coach lasts a long time and keeps the engagement of the students in longer. And how we do that is we have three core systems that are all integrated together. Really, at the core of it is the coach, and everything on the outside, both from the player and from the club system, they're designed to drive the engagement and make the coach's life easy. And we set out to say, if we can make a platform where a coach can have in under 21 seconds, a platform they can tap a few comments, add some feedback, check players in, and have that very quick and fast, then we know we have a tool that can stand the test of time inside a coach's mind. Because we know coaches hate paperwork. We know coaches don't like to do really the detail work. And so if we have a short, quick, consistent burst of energy from the coach, then the feedback, the comments, and the details are done. Club system is designed to run academies on autopilot, where basically you set up your classes for the term and it runs. And then the way we can make it run on autopilot is we get the players and the parents to do a little bit of extra work, where they actually do the booking and the programming for their kids. And every player has their own app. Every player then can earn pool points, badges, and XP for doing that little bit of extra work, where they're tapping in the schedule, the time, the details, and obviously making the payments when they're going to come in for class. And if those two pieces on the side, the player and the club system, do their job right, then the coach's life is much, much easier. And they get to do the fun stuff with the students without having to do a lot of the paperwork. And that basically comes together, which we allow a very easy process and engagement for parents to be able to tap and switch between students. So if you have a parent, I have 1, 2, or 3 kids, I can quickly tap between my kids, book them in, and then I know my receipts, my schedules, and everything are there for each of my children for whatever activity we're doing, whether it is tennis or we're now doing golf, swimming, football, and the rest all in one place. And of course, to us, it's badges that are really the most exciting. And if I can really put into expression what it means when a 7, 8-year-old actually earns a badge for playing a tournament called Evolution Kids Tennis Paris, right? Evolution World Tour in Paris. And they've earned that badge at the age of 6 or 7 years old. That can stay with them, that can connect with them, and they get to collect that activities. And then you'll see in a minute when we earn badges from the coaches, that becomes even more exciting and more special because they know which coach they've earned it from, when, and they know why. They know that process. And so just kind of jumping into some of the things you were talking about, Mike, on Evolution Kids Tennis. And when we sat down together, maybe a year and a half ago, and looked at how do we move this extremely well orchestrated and integrated program called Evolution Kids Tennis and actually systematize it a little bit into the BOUNX platform. We looked at it and said we have the lesson planning, we have the mission card, we have the behaviors, and we also have the world tours. And the goal was to try and get more use, more activity, more engagement on these platforms, but make it a little bit simpler and systematized, if you will, for coaches to manage that process. So this was the objective, this was the goal, and this is basically what we came up with and how we embedded that. So it's really new functionality, slightly better experience for a coach because they get to do all the stuff right there on court, right then and there as they need to, and time is saved in that process. We started with behavior badges, dropped them into the BOUNX app, and we found that academies seem to get it and understand it when they know what they're doing with the Evolution Kids Tennis program. And so we have the 4: respect, compete, train, and explore. And that really rounded out and helps to build out our whole, what we call the art of the badge engagement. And, when a coach understands the simple nature of the power of giving a badge to a player who's actually earned it, that sticks with that player much longer than just kind of something slightly trivial. So we've created the badges that are revolving around things from exceptional effort to star of the session. But in getting into tennis specific, it might be the big break. So the first time a player has their first string break, boom, we can get a coach can honor them with a badge the first time that happens and the next. When someone realizes they get their kick serve in, that's a really cool one. Or when a young child hits their first topspin and it starts to go in, they realize that, oh, this is a sport that I can get, right? So that moment in a player's journey is something that should be recorded. And as they hit new hurdles every time on, their top spin, forehands and backhands, they should earn a new badge once they hit certain milestones with their coach. And that's designed for the coach to tap it in, you get the XP instantly, and you start to grow that space. And of course, we have then the Evolution Kids Tennis, which are the compete, explore, and we have others that when you do your world tour, you get a 300 XP level because you've actually traveled around the world theoretically to play in that tournament, and that should mean something a little bit more with that XP. And now embedded into the platform is the ability, once you go into your club system, you can tap in and actually create a lesson plan. That lesson plan then kicks out your plan for the 4 weeks, depending upon where you start and how you go. And really the most exciting part, not only does it have the thinking that Mike and the Evolve 9 team have put into Evolution Kids Tennis, it actually has feedback from Mike Barrell, who you can copy and paste and give to the parents. So there's now a bit more consistency that the coaches at the academy can have when they want to provide feedback to their players and really to the parents. And if you look at the coach feedback, it's about what happened on the court today for that specific set of activities and metrics in that, but also gives a small parent mission, because we found when parents have engagement with their children at home, there's more interest because the parents now start to understand what they're doing. We don't want to have too much, but just a little bit to say, hey, maybe you can just, from your toss, have your child hit the ball over an object at a target, right? Do something very simple and just shorten controlled swing that you can practice on at home, so that when they come to the class the next session, they've had a little bit of practice and a little bit of parent and child engagement for the sport. And when they do that, there's going to be more interest to come back the next time. So we have the lesson planning, and we also, this is ready to go. We'll have the mission cards, which will be quasi-automated for the students and the coaches to be able to fill out on a periodic basis and fill out the mission cards tied and tagged to that particular student. And these are exclusive only to those who are on the Evolution Kids Tennis program and embedded inside BOUNX. And just a snapshot then how that works. Parents are engaged with badges, feedback, and mini missions. So payment becomes systematic. And that's one of the things we hear from most of the academies we work with is that ensuring parents show up on time and pay on time and remember to pay is one of the key things. And that's why we design some of these badges and feedback mechanisms inside to make the process of paying more worthwhile rather than just having my child into the class. So now once they book into the class, they join, they then can collect their XP and get the feedback from the coach. So this is what it looks like from a player. Then when the coach gets this, as soon as I tap in and I join that class, it instantly will show up in the coach's app. And a coach knows that if someone has not scheduled and booked into my session, they won't show up in my app. So now we have the app, which will be marking attendance. I can mark attendance in, and then I can give them feedback into which badges that I would like to give. And when I do that, I go in and say, all right, I'm marking these two present. Someone who did not show up, I mark them absent. And then I can choose to give them feedback and give them feedback that is meaningful, but yet short and quite quick. So I can actually provide energy level, low, medium, high, which is one of the things we find actually most effective, because not every day do you want to be writing feedback on a session, but you do know, and if you start to track, especially as a parent, your child, if they're low energy for 3 sessions in a row, perhaps you need to think about something. Maybe you feed them before they come into class. Maybe they didn't have enough sleep the night before. And it's really thinking about those things as a parent, just the really simple things of keeping your child active and engaged in the program. And of course, adding badges is the best, because once you add badges, you start to collect the XP and start to collect the energy and start to collect the activities that are inside your app. So once you get it, you earn your XP. You then get the feedback and you get to see the badges that you have, and both from your coach and from the events that you've come to. So this is one that went out for the Evolution London in August 2021 that says I participate in that. So as I collect these year over year over year, it's one of those exciting things that children go back and actually say, yeah, I remember when I was 7, I played the London World Tour and it's fantastic. So the goal is to keep track and have that stay with me. And for us, it's all about that question of what's your XP, because that is that simple conversation a coach can have with the player. Say, hey, did you give it your all today? Well, we're going to give more XP if you do. We've got badges associated with XP. Are you going to, take that step and compete a little bit in the Evolution Kids Tennis framework? And if they do, boom, that badge is theirs. Their XP goes up, and they start to feel that energy and activity. And once you do, and you start to unlock these activities, and you build up your XP, then academies can provide a richer, more exciting environment where things start to unlock. Right? So if I get up to 10,000 XP, boom, I'm going to unlock my hoodie at a 20% discount. If I get up to 15,000 XP, my hoodie may unlock at a 75% discount, which, what we've done in the past, so over 25,000, 80,000 XP, 15,000, 50% off. And if I have 10,000 XP, I get 30% off. And that's the power of XP then allows you to earn it and then see some rewards because of it. And with the leaderboard coming in and that activity, you get to see how that works. So for us, again, it's about creating more reasons to stay in the game, whatever that game may be. And, the match between Evolution Kids Tennis and the thinking and the theory behind it, plus the ability for us to allow the coach to have the power and control, we're finding is something that coaches start to like and players start to believe and engage. And once they do that, you're going to get more students and you're going to get more parents engaged with your program.